for the first panel discussion of the day. The panel is titled Innovation Imperative Embracing Emerging Technologies. In this, our panelists will explore how banks can leverage cutting edge technologies like artificial intelligence, blockchain, and open banking to create new products, enhance customer experiences, and drive operational efficiency. The discussion points here will be identifying the most promising fintech trends for banking, building a culture of innovation within financial institutions, and implementing new technologies securely and responsibly. For the panel, I would like to invite Mr. Yogesh Valunjkar, Director, Dombivli Nagari Sahakari Bank, on the stage. Please welcome him with a huge round of applause. Our panelists are Mr. Hitesh Sachdev, Head Innovations, ICICI Bank. Please come on the stage, sir. Mr. Daljit Dogra, MD and CEO, Zoroastrian Cooperative Bank. Please come on the stage, sir. Mr. Prasanna Lohar, Advisor, Union Bank of India. And Dr. N. Rajendran, Chief Digital Officer, Multi Commodity Exchange of India. Welcome, all of you. We are looking forward to an engaging and powerful panel discussion.
Very good morning to all of you. Good morning. So, energy levels are low. Good morning. I don't see any regulator sitting here, so we can have. Good morning. Yeah. So, first of all, thanks to Bank TechX, Anupam and his entire team for this lovely session and entire day. We are going to discuss, share, acquire knowledge. Okay, and many times, the question asked like there are many such events are happening. Most of the topics are related to challenge, innovations, and new technologies and all. What is why it is required? Okay, so I had a very good sentence which I came across, that revision makes vision clear. Okay, so that revision every now and then, if it keeps on happening, it makes our vision clear. It will have a more crystal clear focus on the destination or the target that we are planning to take our organization to. So, and the kind of speakers, the esteemed speakers, the stalwarts from industry that we have today on the panel, it is really, I would say, it's a pleasure for me also to lead the panel and make or be a catalyst between you and the esteemed speakers. So, just we will before starting, I think most of them are stalwarts from the industries, and as it is introduced about them, they represent their organization, and most of them represent their league also, the technology also. So today we are going to, as the topic says, like innovation imperative, embracing emerging technologies. So technologies is emerging every day. Okay, 2 years down the line, 3 years down the line, or I would say like before COVID, okay, the volume of digital transactions compared to the volume of digital transactions now, there is an exponential growth. In fact, if there is any word which is exponent of exponential, then that is also stands true. Because as Joshi sir was mentioning it in his keynote speech, the only digital transactions are crossing 14 billion. Okay, the huge volume. एक छोटा सा भी बैंक हो, अगर वो यूपीआई में लाइव हो, दे आर ऑल्सो एक देयर कस्टमर्स आर ऑल्सो ऑन द सेम यूपीआई चैनल, और वो छोटे बैंक के भी 8-10 हजार ट्रांजेक्शन सर दिन में हो रहा है. सो दिस इज द पावर दैट वी ऑल आर लिवरेजिंग द टेक्नोलॉजी, and this is how we want to actually carve our dream for digital India. On the same side, like we have to update ourselves on these emerging technologies. यहाँ पे the crowd that we have, there are some fintechs, there are small banks, there are mid banks, there are large size banks also. few cooperative banks, few commercial banks. So we have a mixed audience, and that actually is very knowledgeable session that we will have. And I would also request all of you to participate in the sessions. You can raise the question, you can ask your queries, or even you can express your opinion about the discussions that we will be continuing. So starting the entire panel discussion, I would like to throw first question. When I talk about digital transformation, मेरी जो बैंक है या मेरी जो organization है, why I want digital organization is, of course, the focus is very clear. I want to be in the competition. If I don't adopt to digital transformation, or I don't adopt to digital innovations, I will not be in the business. जैसे वो इंग्लिश में कहते हैं, if you continue to do what you are doing, you will not be in business tomorrow. So you have to do something new, and you have to align with the new changes, the technology innovations and all. But when we talk about this, what should be the framework or what should be the thought process of the organization? अगर मुझे digital transformation करना है, I want to leverage on new technologies. So we want to hear from all the experts, like what should be the strategy, what should be the driving force for this entire transformation? Because everybody, all of us would like to have best of the best product offered to our own customers. And on this horizon, how do we plan? How do we strategize about the digital transformation in our organization? So I want to start with Rajendran sir, because we all know him. He is like Mr. Digital. We should give one big round of applause, because आज जो UPI हम देख रहे, it is his innovation. All of you, I ask for big applause, sir, please. Because he is the person who has invented everything, and today whatever Digital India, the key contributor to Digital India is, I would say, his innovations. So, sir, what you feel should be the key points for strategizing the entire roadmap for the digital transformation?
Yeah. Good morning to everyone, and thank you for your introduction. And in fact, I did not do anything. It's we all together did this big transformation. If you see the things, UID is the first pillar to start that our direct benefit transfer. Then where we have able to iron out these identity issues, then that is led to so many other innovations. Okay. And if you see the digital infrastructure path, the DPI's path which we created, and you know what was the pain points in even 2000, 2005, between the 2000 to 2010, there are a lot of pain areas the small bank customers and small banks faced. We brought together by introducing our own self-sufficiency product like the Rupee. One of the product which we have domestically and globally successful, the card scheme Rupee. That one has created a huge inclusive growth in the financial sectors. So for that, there is a lot of roadmaps has been created. When it is there, the UPI success story, when he said everybody, we pride that things, everywhere we go, the things, yes, UPI we did, we are doing good. We are also accelerating in very exponential way to penetrate this digital adoption in every segment. Okay. And if you just go back to those days in 2015 and 16, what it meant for the unified payment interface. One of the objective was in the product design to give a unified experience to the customers across the channels. If you see, I have that design document, even in my mind it is there. Whether you use the POS machine, whether you use an ATM, whether you use an internet banking, anywhere you should get the unified experience. That is the customer experience you need to get it. Rightly, Mr. Balaji has said that API-driven approach. Now it is reality is happen in the UPI. If you see, you go to the ATM, you can just carry your only mobile, not in card. Scan a QR code and take the money. Go to your POS machine, scan the QR code and pay the money. And if you wanted to do the offline or online, everywhere you are able to just use as a mobile as a one of your device and authenticate through your own device, another USB. So since we have created this road and created an experience in the payment segments. So what we need to drive. Now we are talking about, maybe our bank colleague will able to add a lot of things about the unified lendings and the unified customer experience, even underlying infrastructures, even bank, even for the risk management, fraud and risk management. It's a unified approach. All transactions will hit only on the fraud and risk management system, and it will evaluate, and this decision had to be taken less than 20 seconds within the bank and checking all across the thing. So how it is we are going forward looking. So if you see the things, lot of new technology, lot of new things, a data-driven approach being discussed. See, my own personal view is that, yes, we are driving towards the new technology areas. Say now, everybody has the buzzword, new buzzword, is the AI, artificial intelligence and ML. Then in that also we have the generative AI and the co-pilots, because the different technologies uses the different names. But ultimately this generative AIs is the whatever now it is the how user inputs basically and what is then expected from the automated way of response. To just simplifying and the understanding about this and AI. So when we wanted to do, how we will able to use it? In every area, the customer experience can be enhanced by going through or adopting the new technologies. AI will take time, but you can start with a smaller approach to starting with your front-end facing and online areas where you can able to start with the customer interaction. But largely, it should be used in the back-end areas where your approach should go away from the vertical scalable system to horizontal scalable systems. So now your core banking had to be looked into a different way of approach, because you cannot touch any maintenance purpose. You cannot shut down any systems. It have to run 24/7 and non-stop. But how do you structure your maintenance? How do you structure your operations? How do you upgrade? So you need to plan. You need to plan the things that API approach, then the data-driven approach. These two things will drive towards to providing the customer experience as well as the resiliency in the system to continuously give the services to the customer. So I think this way it will take some more time to adopt it. I think we are doing good in that directions only.
Great, sir. So, as sir said, we have to be, our systems have to be a 24/7/365. And customer experience is a buzzword, and every organization is, focusing on how they can enhance the current customer experience. So, in the continuation, I would like to ask Raj sir, so how an organization or a small or a big mid organization, how we can create that blueprint. Okay, so how do we start, or how do we, progress?
Yeah.
What would be milestones kind of?
So thank you so much, and very good morning, everybody out here coming for this particular conference. And thank you so much, sir, for your views. Riding on that, I would like to talk on like in India, there are multiple types of banks.
We have PSU banks, we have tech-heavy private sector bank like ICICI Bank or HDFC. We have small finance bank which has come up, that structure has come up recently, or a payments bank. And we have some of those cooperative banks also. And every bank is at different level. Like, and they have to measure their level, right? And in which orbit they are right now. Like when you talk about Paytm, could be on top orbit because they are digital first, they have good processes. When you talk about SBI in 90s and SBI today, they have moved on to multiple. I think today SBI we look at it as another blueprint for how to do digital transformation at all levels. Similarly, at any of those banks, the people in the bank should understand where they are in that orbit. And as you rightly asked me, how do we measure that orbit? Like how do we measure where we are as a digital transformation journey? So it all depends upon, in my view, in the 5 different pillars. First pillar is all about people in the organization, starting from your board members, CTOs, CIOs, and having those designations. Do you have that inclination towards that digital transformation which is happening on technology or customer experience, which your customer is expecting? So you need to understand whether in your bank, do you have those required skill set, who understands AI or Gen AI, who understand how to build API banking, or who understand how to build that mobile app. So people is the first pillar. You need to assess how much is the skill gap in your organization to go from this orbit to the next orbit. Second thing, like every bank has their own products, their own processes. So there could be digital first processes already. Like if you ask Paytm or some of those fintech companies, they are already digital. But when you talk about some cooperative banks, they have to go from not digital, so-called phygital to digital. So which are those top priority processes today to move to the next orbit? Maybe account opening process, how you can do completely digital with APIs like Aadhaar, PAN and so on. Or some process to do how to give a loan on a fast basis. Like we keep hearing multiple digital public infras coming. So at a bank, you should understand which are your, in that year, top 10 processes you are going to enhance, from account opening or customer engagement, customer services, and so on. Third pillar is primarily very important pillar. I would say how regulation looks at you as an organization, right? How regulation, or how RBI in our context, how it looks at you and judge you. Okay, these are the gaps in your organization. You should fulfill your compliance and all those processes with new people, processes, and many more guidelines they are bringing. So how do you really fulfill that? A fourth pillar I would look at, while you have a traditional service provider, so-called Infosys and so on, how are you onboarding new partners so fastly? Like if you ask the process in SBI having RFPs, or what is the process you are following to onboard fintechs or partners, right? While Hitesh may talk about how fastly they are onboarding fintech companies and how that is helping bank to grow to the next orbit. So partnership model, like how do you select those service providers, very important. Coming back, the another important factor, which the 2 factors remaining, which is a customer. For whom you are building that? For your internal customers or for your external customer for servicing, and internal customer for enhancing their operational enhancements, or maybe onboarding new leads. So there are a lot of products you will do. And lastly, backbone of all these 5 pillars is technology. Are you utilizing cloud, or are you utilizing big data? Are you utilizing AI, or are you utilizing any futuristic products like technology like blockchain and so on? And while doing this, what is happening externally, right? There are a lot of digital public infrastructures. Are you on UPI, or are you on Aadhaar? Are you on ONDC's account aggregator? And in a room, if you are sitting along with the CTO, CIO, CISO, and all of that, when we measure these 6 pillars, like what people, what process you want to enhance, what technology you are adopting, which are those partners, how with the regulation we are doing, and how customers looks at you, are you really digital? And that will give a right kind of approach for you to move forward. So that's in a nutshell.
Yeah, very nicely, articulated different orbits and the thought process of exactly what would be the driving forces. अगर हमको digital transformation करना है तो हमारा objective क्या है? What we want to achieve. So as he rightly said, the purpose is very clear. Of course, we want to enhance the customer experience. Of course, the regulator, so RBI or whoever is the regulator, we have to do the compliance. So compliance is another driving force. And of course, internal and external customers satisfaction, and taking them to the new technology horizon. So that is also could be a good driving force. So moving on the discussions ahead, I want to ask Daljit sir, because he comes from, or he represents currently a community bank, Zoroastrian bank, and we would say a progressive bank, though it is come under a small mid bank, but it's a very progressive bank. So, sir, what thought process in the context what Prasanna sir mentioned? What is your thought process? How did you manage the orbits and the transformation?
Thank you. So, our belief also is that two important factors for a bank like us are people and technology. We believe that technology will provide you speed, consistency, accuracy for repetitive jobs. But after all, the technology has to be implemented and maintained by people. The creative jobs, whatever we think of technology, creative jobs will still be in the hands of the people. And we are investing on both sides. Now, being a small bank with very limited means, we have to adopt a very, very cost-effective approach. Today, regulator wants us to be as compliant as any other large bank. And if you go to do that, then the costs are prohibitive and probably not affordable in most of the cooperative banks. So using the technology on software as a service model or kind of subscription model, that is the way forward. It's quite cost effective. But even for that, we need to have in-house talent to evaluate the technology, what is suitable for us, to interact with the service providers. See, today the challenge is that there are so many service providers and there are so many regulations to be complied with. But do we really know that the person who is providing technologies to us is compliant with the regulatory requirements? That is the first big challenge. And we are lucky that there are so many service providers, because otherwise it would have been difficult for a bank like us to have it in-house. So it is a very simple example. There have been service providers in the society for time immemorial. See, all of us need some kind of medical advice somewhere in life, but every family does not have a doctor. So we go to a doctor as a community. Similarly, we look at these kind of service providers as business partners. I am in banking for a long time. There was a time when we used to see Life Insurance Corporation of India or any insurance company as a competitor. Today, they have become our very good business partners, and we are making a lot of money through this partnership. So we always look at the fintech, the service providers as business partner, because banking is a different professional. We are using technology to run the banking. We can't actually do technology ourselves. So that partnership, with that understanding, we try to find out a good business partner, a reliable business partner. We have business partners with us for 10 years, 12 years, 13 years. Another approach what we have adopted is, at a price which is affordable to us, we are going for the best technology. It is the best, highest model of the car which we would like to, whatever we choose, whether it is SUV or it is standard, but we want to have the best model in that segment. So we are choosing our business partners, technology partners very carefully, the best available in the best possible price, and it has been working so well. So that tomorrow, technology is like a foundation of the building. Tomorrow, if I have to scale up, I should not change my CBS. Tomorrow, if I have to scale up, I should not go for something else. And this is way we interact with our business partners, and it is doing very well. And I think for a bank like us, that is the way forward. Thank you very much.
Great, sir. जैसे सर ने कहा अभी कि he represents a small mid-size bank, but currently it doesn't matter what is the size of the bank. It doesn't matter where your bank is located. It doesn't matter आपका कितना net profit है. At the end, you are a bank, and bank is a bank, no matter what business model you are carrying. But the expectation of the customers from the bank will stand same whether it is a cooperative bank or a commercial bank or a PSU bank. So in that context, even if the thought process is really appreciable, we really appreciate your thought process, sir, because even if with a small bank, you can leverage on technology players who are offering as a service. So without compromising on customer experience, you can leverage on technology by the options like a subscription model or ISP models. You can leverage and you can still offer the same service, and you can have ensure the customer satisfaction index maintains or enhances. But of course, we would also like to hear from the leader in the banking, the ICICI Bank, and we have Mr. Hitesh representing ICICI Banks, and incidentally, he is heading the innovation part. So, Hitesh sir, we would like to hear from you, especially on this, the innovations, the everyday that innovations, new things are coming up. So, how do your bank look at it, and especially if you are heading the innovations, what are your thoughts, approach behind this, and what you would guide to all the bankers sitting here?
Yeah, so I think we are fortunate and blessed that we have a regulator, which is one of the biggest innovator. So if you look around, UPI, right, a roaring success, and it's something which not only India is proud of, but entire world is looking at it, and that's one area where we are exporting, technology, right? Uh, Similarly, we have now account aggregation framework, which is nothing but a consent architecture wherein data amongst the financial institutions, can be shared with the consent of the customer. So, imagine, if the data sharing happens on a click of a button, right? Which is what account aggregation framework is trying to do. How much ease it will bring for the customers. So they need not, even banks did not spend time in collecting data. Erstwhile, a lot of time used to get spent in collecting data, and then you have very little time to analyze the data. So here, actually, data is available easily through the account aggregation framework, and you can spend time in analyzing the data and then offering the contextual and relevant product to the customers, right? So that, according to me, would be again bring in again a bigger shift, right, in the banking domain. The other area where we see on the commerce side, right? So we have ONDC, which is Open Network for Digital Commerce, right? So today, if you want to let's say book a cab, what are the two names which come to your mind? I'm asking to the audience. When you are trying to book a cab, how will you book a cab? Ola or Uber, right? If you want to, order a food, what will you use to order a food? Swiggy or Zomato, right? So, and like for e-commerce also, you have Amazon or Flipkart, right? So, these are oligopolistic businesses which have got created, and they are dictating terms to the customers and to their, vendors or partners, right? So ONDC, is trying to democratize the commerce, where how do we make even the smallest of the small shopkeepers or the smallest of the players, to be part of the mainstream, where they are providing, technology protocol, and you can actually launch your products or services using the tech protocol. So tech is democratized. It's no more a kind of somebody, if it is not being owned by a few people, it is available to everyone now. So that, according to me, will bring another big shift, and where banks also will play a role by integrating with ONDC, by introducing seller side app or buyer side app, and in fact, banks customers would benefit immensely out of it, right? Another attempt, I think, which is made is CBDC, which is central bank digital currency, and see what kind of revolution it will bring, right? Where you can actually program your money. Now imagine if I want to, give 100 rupees to my kid, and I want him to utilize that 100 rupees to only buy books and not the chocolates, How do I ensure that, So can I program that money that this 100 rupees will work only for at bookstore and not at the grocery store. So that's what CBDC will, bring about, where you can program your money. How do you make your money, being utilized for the end use which you want it to be utilized? Which will again bring in a lot of, benefits in terms of, like we are running direct benefit transfer schemes for various objectives which, government is trying to achieve. So this will ensure that end money use is kind of monitored, controlled, and it is being used only for the purpose for which it is allocated for. Uh, Apart from that, I feel that, see, most of the banks, have realized that partnerships are a way of life. And, as Mr. Dogra rightly mentioned, right, that you need kind of many more partners. You alone can't be. So many times, there is a debate that, are you a technology company owning a bank or you are a bank running the technology operations, right? So we are far away from, technology, a company running a bank, right? It's the other way around where bank is running the technology operations. So, you need to kind of partner with the right set of partners, and that's where uh, we at bank have developed developer portal where we have hosted some 350 plus APIs, and this helps us to partner very quickly, because these are the standard set of APIs which we give to our partners to consume, and we have very standardized formats. We ensure that our APIs work, they work efficiently. Balaji is smiling. He was one of the big contributor to that developer portal when he was at ICICI Bank. So we have kind of ensure that we are able to get along with our partners very quickly and launch the products and services for our customers. And then, the last bit I'll speak about is the, Gen AI, which is the new, kind of kid in the block, and a lot of discussions which are going on. So I think, the way we believe is that this is going to revolutionize a lot of operating, operating stuff which we do at the bank. And, today as a bank, one needs to think about how do you create a multi LLM strategy. You did not create your own large language models, but there are many large language models which are available. How do you select the right, LLM for the right use case, and then build maybe a prompt engineering layer, fine tune those LLMs as per your, need and your use cases. So I believe that, in areas like customer communication, marketing, you create appraisals, all these areas, there are, good number of use cases which can bring in lot of benefits, So, but still in early in that journey, and we'll see, it progressing in a big way. But the kind of, advantage it is, we perceive are huge. And I think sooner or later, everybody will have to, embark on that journey. Yeah.
Rajendran,
I wanted
yeah.
to add one.
Yeah, please,
thing.
please.
See, the one aspect which everywhere know, we are touching about the compliance is very difficult to do. Compliance. See why? Every regulator wanted to protect the investor interest as well as the customer interest. So that's why they are putting lot of effort to create a compliance, and compliance also is arrived on the consultative process and all. We need to why need when you have an outsourcing, lot of models are coming in there. When you do your core system outsourcing or core work is outsourcing, you need to evaluate. Suppose that outsourcing agency goes to bankruptcy, are not able to deliver services, or you are not able to move forward in the market. How do you protect your business as well as your customer interest? You need to have that. You need to think over whether you wanted to do a data you have with you, or no dependency with the external entities, or you have a source code with you, and you can have the rights to take the source code or modify it, or you have somebody to engage to modify it, or you can able to migrate to some other alternative systems. So this is why this is very, very important when you go in the moving towards completely digital systems and depending on only on the digital infrastructure. And recent attacks also, whatever, I don't want to go into specific things, but there is a supply chain attacks started doing. So we need to do the things, any kind of, that's why one more class also the regulators are brought in. The cyber attack case, if happens completely, your data centers are wiped out. What will happen? Then you need to have one more strategy to how are you have a data sets, your application, everything to resume your business, your well-defined timeline, whether you want to have the 24 hours or you want to have a 2 hours or whatever things, you should be able to move to an alternative systems or whatever thing, you'll be able to do it. So that's why these are very important things while you selecting your partners, selecting your outsourcing strategies, you must thoroughly analyze it so that you don't have a dependency and your business continue. Because finally, the banking systems, what DIGCs will give you a per customer cap of some 5 lakhs, if I'm understood everybody, if you given insurance. Then beyond that, how do you do it? That is only the small protections to the giving some customer. But you need to protect your own business as well as the customer confidence. That's why these are the complaints are becoming a very, very essential and important. You must take it as a in true spirit to do the compliance.
Right, sir. Prasanna, you want to add?
Yeah, I think wonderful to see all the inputs from the experts. The way I look at, and if I ask any of those, all these bankers who are sitting here, which part of banking era you are? Definitely you have seen the traditional banking with the brick and mortar and big servers and so on. And most of the banks has moved to the next league, which is called a digital bank, right? Which is a mobile and API-led or a data-led or a cloud-led. But how do we move to the next league, which is an intelligent banking? I think one of the advice from my side is that while every bank has its own IT team or has its own journey to invest on multiple initiatives, always look at how the platforms are going to help. I think while RBI keeps giving a lot of compliance guidelines or regulatory guidelines, at the same time, as a part of a vision statement, they bring on a lot of digital public infra or platforms. So maybe after 10 years, every bank or every banking model will be on the platforms. UPI could be or maybe card system was on a platform. Then we have seen UPI, Bharat Bill Payment, which is Bharat Connect, or Hitesh spoke about ONDC, account aggregator. I think more or less every business model or every bank model will go on a platform model. So I think that's how cooperative banks are also now looking at core banking on platform model, or any other security tool or SOC is coming on platform model. So while you invest, you always look at, is there any platform model available which will take your journey to the next level, rather than you will keep investing on your own diligence and all. So that's the one small advice I wanted to give.
Exactly. And that reminds me, as you rightly mentioned, like here we can see the audience who has witnessed manual banking, the long ledgers and all, where entire data was sitting or was at the branch only, not even at the head office. At the individual branches, the data used to maintain. And then we saw the computerization, and then we are in the CBS wave. Now, as you mentioned about leveraging on the outsourcing model, okay, because I want to give the best of the best service to my customers, and I have my own limitation in terms of resources, in terms of budget, in terms of maintaining the technology. All these challenges at one side, and other side, I have to give same seamless experience to my customers. And Daljit sir has done this. I think his bank is one of the bank who had initially went for this hosted model, and he leveraged the concept of, you just give the technology part to us and you focus on banking, because I am a bank. As Hitesh mentioned, sometimes, am I running a technology company or am I running a banking? So because there will be a lot of regulations and compliances that will drive, that has to be there in order to protect the entire ecosystem. But nevertheless, if you leverage properly on the outsourcing hosted model, you can still continue to them. And your bank, sir, has selected a tier 1 CBS, and you were one of the few banks who started on this. So what was your thought process? Because I see many banks, are small or mid size, which are in the process. क्योंकि सर ये ऑब्जेक्शन आता है ना, हमारा सब डेटा हमारे पास था, अभी दूसरे को देना है, तो वो एक रिलक्टेंस आता है, एंड वी आर स्कैरसिटी, वो भी एक. So how did you leverage on that?
As I said earlier, that costs are quite prohibitive, and on the quality of information technology, we cannot compromise. And as Hitesh also said, that regulator is one of the biggest innovator. In fact, a very good guide also to help us choose the technology. Now, when we started deciding about upgrading our existing CBS, we thought that finally our bank is running for around 100 years, and we want to run it for another 500 years. So, if every 5, 7, 10 years we keep on changing our technology, our CBS, it would be very pain area. So why don't we go for the best available in the market? And I don't hesitate to mention that I'm not propagating, I'm not their ambassador, but I'm just saying that we used Finacle. I had used this system in my previous bank, in Axis Bank, and most of the transactions are in the country are happening through Finacle. But the cost was very, very prohibitive. So we chose an alternate model, and we are the first urban cooperative bank to have CBS on SaaS model. Luckily for us, our long-term partner, Sarsut Infotech, was implementing this. And I said that we take our service providers as our business partners. So with that, Sarsut I also take this challenge that tomorrow if something happens to your service provider, what happens? So we also roped in level 2 service provider, and level 3 is Infosys himself, Azure themselves. So to some extent, we have mitigated that risk. And the cost is, it is just like living on Worli Sea face on a flat which you don't own, but you enjoy all the benefits. It is just like that. It is
So
just like that.
You can still leverage or enjoy the various.
And it is working very well. Again, I would say we have to treat our business partners very respectfully. After all, our entire working depends on them. So there are some problems, there have been some teething problems, but we are very, very happy with what we have done. And now I'm also very happy to share with you that many cooperative banks are choosing this model. And it has been a very good experience. We had challenges. But we had challenges when the CBS was owned by my previous bank. So challenges would be there. But if you have the right people with you, right business partners, and you are reasonable to them, I think we will be very successful. So I take this point, and it always works on my mind that if something happens to a service provider, where you go. Yeah. But plan B and plan C is already there. And anyway, banking is a business of risk taking. If I can't take risk, I can't do banking.
Right.
So that is the another, I think that risk we can carry with us. Thank you very much.
Right. So we'd like to have questions also. अगर आपको कुछ भी सवाल है, queries है, questions है, you can ask the esteemed panel. Meanwhile, I would just like to ask Hitesh, like ICICI Bank for that matter, how you have created that ecosystem for for cooperative banks also. If small cooperative bank want to leverage, they can't do. Or here we can see a lot of fintechs also. So do you have any such system for innovations, fintechs or small banks like?
Yeah. So we run a innovation lab, and at our lab we encourage startups to operate out of that lab, and wherein we work with them and create products with them. So it's a win-win situation, for both the fintechs and us, where they get the exact requirement from us, guidance from us in terms of what kind of product we want. And once they are able to work with us and create a product, we are also able to buy that product, so they get a ready customer like ICICI Bank, right? So this has worked very well, and several innovations which we have done, have actually originated from our lab, right? So to give an example, like for example, video KYC, when the guidelines came in, I think we're almost ready with, the entire video KYC platform, and that we worked in partnerships with one of the startups. And that actually gave us an advantage to be one of the first movers, and launching that platform. Similarly, we started using satellite data for our agri business and our collections business, for rural collections. We again partnered with, startup Shatshore, where we were the first one in the banking industry to use satellite data and, predict, the harvesting, predict the collection routes, for our collection managers. And it is bring in a lot of, efficiency for us, right? Similarly, we have partnered with n number of startups, on different verticals in the bank for different functions, So what approach we have taken is that, and as Dogras have rightly mentioned, that you have to treat and respect your partners and actually consider them as your partners and not your vendors, right? Jointly work with them, create, like, for example, Finacle, right? Was way back developed, by ICICI Bank in partnership with, Infosys, and which is kind of now for CBA as one of the core benchmarks, kind of across the world, not only in India. So our approach is that, we try to bring our strengths on table, leverage the, the ability and the strengths of our partner, and try to create a win-win situation. At our lab also, we have created as an ecosystem where we believe that, it takes a village to raise a child, and similarly for any startup or a fintech to grow, they need many more stakeholders. So apart from us, we have also partnered with, like NPCI, ONDC, a lot of other players, right, who bring in a lot of other expertise and help startups to grow. So, and yeah, for, the smaller banks or cooperative banks, we have our digital infra, we have our own switches, which are being widely used by some of our partners, and there, I believe, our approach again is that we have created large infra, if there is a possibility to leverage it in partnership with some of the smaller players, why not, But largely, the thought process is, how do you create an ecosystem where it is beneficial for both the parties and it is win-win for both the parties. It cannot be like one party wins and other party loses.
Right.
You have to create those partnerships where it's a winning model for both of them.
True.
So I have one view.
Yeah, please.
So as a topic is all about digital transformation, innovation, and the use of technologies, and looking at the set of banks out here. So one of the initiative which we are doing is to build a compliance as a service, or data security as a service, or audit as a service. On those lines, in every organization, you look at, there are only three areas whichever the way we talk with the regulator, they look at who are there in your company. Which systems, which people, what roles. It's called as identity of a particular, or including vendor also. Second is about how these processes are being tracked with these identities. How they are doing their day-to-day operations, are they doing within TAT or unTAT? And lastly, how they are transferring the data from bank to another partner or within a bank also. To do that, we have done complete analysis, and we said, can we not build up trust shield kind of a platform where we onboard employees, partners, everybody out there. And in the back end, we use some of those emerging technologies like AI and blockchain to see the complete traceability. And while this may sound very concept, or maybe like wherein like something which every MD or every board member aspires for, we are already working with a bank, and we are already working with a payment company to really see how. So what is the idea at the end of a day or during any time, real time, MD or whoever are the stakeholders can really see the complete view of the organization on the dashboard. And at the same time, I can open up this window to regulator also to say that the regulator can also log in and say, okay, considering all these regulations and all those things which they ask typically at the end of audit, risk-based audit, or all the audits which we are saying, so every data is available there for that company. So if somebody wants to understand it more, certainly we can look at the discussion.
Great. Any questions from audience? आपको किसी को भी कुछ भी query या सवाल हो तो you can just raise hand and ask the question, please. Yeah. So of course we are here around. So even after the discussion, if you feel to interact with anyone, you are free and it is welcome. Just as a summary, I would say हमको एक ecosystem build करना है as a bank. Okay. On one hand, we as a bank, we are committed to provide best of the best service to our customers, especially the upcoming customers, the young crowd, okay, where the banking is on tips and they are expecting the tats in minutes, okay, maybe in coming days it will come to seconds, okay. So that kind of the customer base. And on the other hand, we are also getting regulator feedbacks, like the regulator like RBI, who is coming up with a public credit registry, and whereby हमको पूरा डेटा मिलेगा जो भी borrower हमारा expected borrower है, prospective borrower है, so we can leverage the collective data, what is his history at the other banks or other financial institutes. So this is also part of our ecosystem, the system that is coming up, where we can get the entire history of the prospective borrower. And third part of our ecosystem will be, of course, the fintechs and new innovations that are coming up, which we can leverage on their technology, their innovations, their intelligence, what they have built, to streamline or to address the compliance requirements or address the new innovations expected by the customer. जैसे अभी अर्ली वार्निंग सिस्टम का सर्कुलर आया है 25 जुलाई को, स्पेशली फॉर कोऑपरेटिव बैंक्स. So early warning signals, maybe we are using AI, ML, generative AI, to predict, depending on the pattern of the borrower, his transactions, what could be, who could be your maybe kind of, हम लोग जो बोलते हैं category 1, 2, 3. So that will give us a good inputs to EWS, which will actually, हमारा उसमें जो जितना भी समय जाता था, that we can restrict. तो जैसे राजेंद्रन सर ने इनिशियली बोला था कि the entire thing or the entire ecosystem will help you, जो आपकी जो mundane process है front end back end में, that you can automate using the technology, the new innovations, and you can more focus on the business, which is our actually heart of the entire system, that my customer service, my segments, so that by taking help from partners, the entire ecosystem, I can have a better business proposition to my customers. Just on a concluding remarks, I would ask all the speakers to have 1 or 2 lines for all the audiences, like on the innovations and ecosystems.
Yeah, so innovation is the continuous process, and you should not hesitate that, okay, whether it is right or wrong. You must go ahead, even small change in your process also, it is your innovations. So you need encourage, then you do move forward and create the continuous process to change, because of the world also, the new customer also, expectations also changes, and continuously you need to adapt to the changes demanded by the customers.
Correct.
So for us, the innovation is not only doing the new things, but also doing the existing things in newer, better way.
Right.
So I think the way one can look innovation is, one is about the tech part of it, but the other larger part is about the mindset and culture. So I think the biggest challenge which one faces is the mindset and the cultural change. So I think one needs to embrace that culture change. And other aspect is, I think whenever we think about a technology or a feature or new innovations, I think keep customer at the center, right? Customer centricity is the core. I mean, many times you end up developing features considering that customer will like it in your own mind, but the true test is whether you have taken feedback from the customer. Have you understood the customer requirement? So whatever you do, keep customer at the center and build, things around that, right? See, earlier model of banking was built around, the branch. Branch used to be at the center. Everything used to revolve around branch now.
Yes.
But now we need to rethink that entire model and see, keep customer at the center and build everything around it, right? Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, I think on how do you reach out to the customer, right? So it's a now new norm. It's not something like customer will come down to the branch, but how do you reach out to the customer to take a feedback, to onboard them within a bank, to serve them, to engage them? I think to do that, I think once again I repeat the blueprint, right? Look at type of people in your bank. If you don't have, hire them or reskill existing ones. Look at which process to be adopted to the next level. Which technologies are needed in the bank, and always look around regulation and keep asking yourself, are you moving from this orbit to the next orbit? And lastly, I think the new era says new competition is a collaboration. The way look at the regulator keeps collaborating with banks, fintechs, and keeps giving all those guidelines. So it makes responsibility at one bank also how they can collaborate within a bank as well as outside of the bank.
Great. Thank you very much. Any questions? Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, panelists. I now request the moderator to felicitate all our panelists. I request Yogesh sir to present a memento to Mr. Hitesh Sachdev, Head Innovations, ICICI Bank. Next, I request sir to present a memento to Mr. Dogra. Now to Mr. Prasanna Lohar, Advisor, Union Bank of India. Now to Dr. N. Rajendran, Chief Digital Officer, Cooperative State of India. Now request Mr. Ashish to present the memento to Mr. Yogesh. The panelists, please stay on the stage. We have a special request from Visible. I request the visible representatives to come on the stage for the